Hello! Today I am making the Merry Maker dress, which is a pattern that I made up, and it is available as a printable PDF when you sign up for my email newsletter, so I'll leave that in the description so you can sew this along with me. You will need it for the different equations for how to cut this out according to your measurements. So if you want to make one with me, sign up for my newsletter below and let's get merry. Today I'm working on a brand new dress. I have made one of these and now I want to make one in red and white gingham. So I need to go to the store to pick up some fabric. If you've been around here, you know that I typically don't buy fabric new. I usually thrift things, but today I'm just going for it. So I'm heading to Hobby Lobby. First up, gonna go get myself a drink. I'm really excited. Let's go. At Hobby Lobby, I wanted to get fabric that was 100% cotton, and all three of these fit the bill. I had the hard decision of choosing between like a large check, a small check, and a medium check, so I just wanted to see how they all looked on me. I also stopped by the Notion section to look for some cotton drawstring, as this is an option for the dress, but I decided that I wanted to make my own with the gingham fabric. All right, fabric is secured. It was $5, which I was super stoked about. Now I have to pre-wash it. That's something I forget about with buying new fabrics, that you do want to wash them so they don't shrink later. Starting off for the pattern, we do need to take 6 different measurements. The front of your arm to the back, desired sleeve length, the elastic measured around your bicep or where you want the bottom of your sleeve to be, from armpit to armpit, and from the top of the dress, which is about mid-chest, to your desired length, plus needed seam allowance. I somehow skipped the last measurement, but you're just going to measure around your shoulders. You can reference the PDF for my recommended measurements. I spent a long time adjusting and measuring to make the most of my 2.5 yards of fabric. This was the remainder of the fabric on the bolt, so this was all I had to work with, but I made it work. Pockets are not part of the pattern, but after making the first dress, I really wanted to add some to this dress. This pocket pattern is by Rooney Patterns. I'll link it below. It's so nice because you can print it on one sheet and add pockets to anything. I have cut my 5 pieces. And now it's time to make the armholes. Again, you can reference the PDF for the measurements here. I'm drawing the curved line for the armhole, and I will just mirror that and cut it on the other side. Here's how they look with all the armholes cut out. Sewing together the main dress panels, we'll be sewing down both of the side seams. I am going to overlock my seams. You can finish them with a zigzag stitch or pinking shears. Moving on to the sleeve, sewing right sides together. Stitching down, and again, I'm going to overlock. This part was the trickiest to illustrate, so I'll show you in video. With the right side of the dress facing up and the sleeve turned right side out, you're going to line up these side seams that you just sewed, pin here, and then pin all around the armhole. We're going to sew along this curve at a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Moving on to the buttonholes, I am finding my center and marking where I want my buttonhole to be. When you measure down 1 inch, that 1 inch mark is going to be the top of the buttonholes. I did not film this process of sewing these. You can find tutorials online for making buttonholes if you have not done it before. As mentioned in the PDF, interfacing is optional. I added it over the top of my buttonhole marks. This just strengthens this area as it will get a lot of use with the drawstring ties. After sewing together my drawstring, I'm cutting off the excess fabric. And using my looper turner tool, it's very handy, but this takes a long time. I am turning my drawstring right side out. I knotted one side of the string and put a pin in the other. Now to create the tunnel for the drawstring, I'm folding 1/2 inch, then 1/2 inch again, and pinning. And I'm going to sew around the entire top of the dress. The last step for the top is running the string through the tunnel. This will also take a while, so put on a good show or a podcast. Here's how she's looking so far with the top done. Next is the sleeves and the bottom hem. To make the sleeves, I'm using a 1/4 inch elastic, so I'm doing 2 1/2 inch folds. I am pinning all the way around and leaving a 2 inch gap to insert my elastic. Here you can see the gap that I'll leave. And then I'll put a pin in the edge of my elastic so I can tunnel it through. Once it comes out the other side, you will zigzag over the elastic pieces to connect them. And then sew the 2 inch gap shut. And repeat for the other sleeve. Now for the bottom hem. As I mentioned before, I only had 2.5 yards of this fabric, so I would have liked to have a heavier hem, but I had to go with a 1 inch rolled hem. Finishing up the bottom, and that's going to complete my dress. This is the version I made in linen. It has a heavier 5 inch hem, and I just think it helps it to fall in a really lovely way. Maybe for my next one, I'll do that again. But here's the reveal. I'm so happy with it. It's super cozy, and I love that I added the pockets. My husband and I went on a photo shoot to take some official pictures for the pattern, and here's how that went. Thank you so much for sewing with me. If you end up making one, I would love to see it. It would just make my day. Please tag me or send me a photo on Instagram. I'm at mindful.may there. I would just love to see whatever you create. I also love that this pattern is so hackable. I think you could make longer sleeves, you could make it a maxi, you could add a ruffle, you could do a shirred waistline, you could add pockets. I feel like you could do so much with it as a base pattern. So I'd love to see your creativity. I myself plan on making several more. So good luck in making one. Let me know if you have any questions below, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!